Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer with Canvas Sign Designs, and I am going to show you guys how to make this Hello Summer Fun popsicle today. This is a door hanger that I have, and you can purchase the, crazy hair today. You can purchase the cutouts if you want to make it yourself, or the template. I will link those in the notes. Hey, Leanne, how are you today? Hey, Kim, welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Oh, don't snap off. Always having camera problems. That changed the lighting, even though I pointed it on the sign. Okay, so if you are watching, let me know you are watching. Say hello. How are you guys doing today? Is everybody having a decent week? Okay, so I will add the link to purchase the cutout and the template. Let me just do that really quick in the notes. There's just always something I fail to do. So this sign is etched. There are etched lines in here, which make it super easy to paint. You don't have to worry about purchasing a template or anything like that. And it also comes with these wooden cutouts here that I am going to show you guys how to paint and glue on the sign. Let's copy this. I'm copying this link really quick for everyone. And anyway, it just makes it super easy to get the lettering. If you're not confident with your lettering just yet, it is a great way to be able to get nice, pretty lettering on there. Okay, so I just linked I can't ever figure out how to pin these comments, of course. Sorry. Hello, Lauren. How are you? Home for election day. You bought this template and cut out this morning, so you can paint. Oh, yay! Yay, yay, yay. I love people who are painting along with me. I'm just trying to figure out how to, pin this comment on this listing. I never seem to be able to figure it out. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Leslie, I have this little link here to purchase a wood blank. Do you mind just pinning that to the top and then maybe just also putting the link for the template in here too, if you don't mind? I always forget to do that. I don't forget to do it, but I can't do it ahead of time. And I don't want to post it in the listing because, Facebook doesn't like that. So anyway, let's get started here. Also, let's see, Leanne says, have you made farmhouse style signs like you made frame and everything? I do not make those. I have a bunch that I can list for sale. I bought a bunch wholesale, I don't know, like a year and a half, because I was going to make a bunch of farmhouse frames just exactly like this right here. And I just have run out of time. So if you are interested in that, I can list some of those. You can purchase them from me if you want. Hey, Kendria, how are you? Hey, Marie, happy Tuesday. I missed your live the other day, Marie. I really wanted to watch it, but then, or I wasn't sure maybe when you were going to do it. You had asked suggestions on when would be a good time, in the moment, but then I forgot to go back and check. So, okay, so let me just hide this and let me do this. Okay, So this sign, I love it because it's super easy to paint. It's not real difficult. And you can pick any color. I do have this template on my website as like a coral and a blue with polka dots on it. So you could add polka dots. You could add, you know, any color that you want. But I like this for like a patriotic sign, and I think you could just leave it up all year long. It's like a bomb pop. And I do, again, I have the cutout listed, and I think there's 3 different sizes that you could purchase. You can purchase, this is a 21 inch, and then there's maybe a 24 and a 12 inch. So I'm going to start with this white in the middle, and I use this Waverly. It's full, and I don't want to tip it sideways. Let's see, this Waverly white chalk paint. I like to use chalk paint for white because white is an ornery color, and it can be very hard to paint, not having to do 5,000 coats. So I usually use chalk paint for my white. So I'm just going to dip directly in here since this is a fairly new bottle, and just go across here. My sign is lasered. If you purchase a template, you will trace the template on your sign, so you'll have those guidelines for you. But since mine has been laser cut, I already have these lines etched on the board for you, or for me, or for whoever's going to paint it. I'm sorry. I'm just clipping off some of these like crazy, you can't really see, but sometimes these bristles get a little crazy and it's distracting to me. So I just clip them off. But my edges are lasered. So when I'm painting, I'm brushing toward the outside so that I can prevent getting a bunch of paint on the sides. It's just less to clean up. You can run a marker across it when you're done, but if you can prevent having that happen, then that's just one step that you can save. So with these lines being etched, it's so thin and small, you can almost barely feel it, but it is there, which is great. So that if you wanted to paint over it, if you wanted, this brushes, look at this craziness. If you wanted to paint over it, you could paint over it and just kind of get some extra paint in that area right there, and it would kind of fill in that gap. I love having these signs etched because it just saves a step of having to print out a template, trace it on. However, I just started selling these etched signs within this last year, really within the last 6 months. So prior to that, I just used a template or draw the lines on myself. Is actually what I did, but and this one's fun. I usually put like a fun patriotic crazy bow on it, just kind of dress it up. But like I said, you could do different colors. I've done this popsicle so many different ways. This particular design I've been selling since probably 2015. And every summer it's like one of my most popular designs still. So it's I guess you could say it's somewhat timeless. Who knows how long that will last, but I have painted it like pink and green and white. I've painted it yellow and pink. The coral and it's kind of like an aqua color, or like a seafoam green kind of color. That one and this one have been the most popular colors thus far. even though no Popsicle is coral and seafoam green, I guess people just like that color combo. I've done an ombre, like green to blue ombre. I've done pink, red, orange ombre. Those were super cute. So there's just so many different ways that you can paint the sign, and it's just fun. Just a fun sign. Okay, so I have one coat of white on here. I'm gonna let it dry just a little bit, and then I will go back and do another coat because I'm a picky painter and I don't like my wood to show through on my signs. So that's just me. You do you. If that is not something that bothers you and you would rather just get on with the show, then, you know, that's good. It's hard to tell here with the lighting, but as this dries, you will see a little bit of the wood through the Popsicle. Let's see. Hello, Miss Gail. How are you? Okay, so thank you, Leslie. Leslie posted the links to either the cutout and the template if anybody wants to get that. Marie said you're planning on, oh, you're talking about your live earlier. I had to meet somebody at the office. Well, you know, hey, Linda, good morning. It's, hey, Sheila, how are you? Hey, Stein. It's hard to plan a live because I feel like sometimes I'm just really spontaneous and I'm like, okay, I have a few minutes to do the live really quick, but then it's hard because then nobody knows and nobody's prepared. Okay, so for the blue, I'm gonna do this Calypso blue. This is what I did in the pictures. It's not traditional red, white, and blue, but it just looks really pretty with this design. You know, you can also do navy. It would be cute. I've never done this sign, like the Americana colors. I think that would be so pretty. Maybe that's what I should have done today. I want to just one day just paint this sign like a million different colors. Like, you guys give me some suggestions on colors. Like, I almost posted like, hey, does anybody have some suggestions on colors that they want to use for the sign? Because there's just so many options. Yellow and pink is really pretty together. Orange and pink, cute. That would be really cute. I don't know. A lot of times for summer decor, I do like some sort of a like patriotic theme and just leave it up all summer from Memorial Day to Labor Day. It covers everything. Yeah, Lauren, you should try chalk white. It's so much better. It is so much better. It's more expensive, obviously, but like just the time savings. And honestly, a lot of times when you have something like that, it's a little bit more expensive. It ends up not being more expensive because you don't use as much. So chalk paint, I use white. For white, I use chalk. For yellow and orange, a lot of times I'll use the chalk paint. And that's usually it. And having some of the white chalk paint is really nice too, because you can add a little bit of it to paint sometimes if you want to lighten a color, and it kind of makes it a little chalky, but not too chalky. It's acrylic chalk paint, so it's not like full chalk paint. But I like it. But a lot of people in the areas that they live in, their Walmart does not carry it anymore. They carry a Hello Hobby brand, which is, I think it's just comparable. It might be, you know, who knows? They might have, it's probably all made by the same company. You just never can tell. But my Walmart still has Waverly. All right, pink, orange, and green, and purple. Oh, yeah, cute. What do I use to cut out my wood? So Tracy, by the way, I've been thinking about you, Tracy. I hadn't seen your name pop up in a while, and I've been wondering how you're doing. So hello. We have a laser cutter for our signs. We also have a CNC router, which is the laser burns the edge. CNC router cuts the edge. It's like a big machine that cuts the edge. And then before then, I used a jigsaw. I do want to preface, I used a jigsaw for 3 years. 3 years to cut out my signs. I cut out a whole lot of signs with the jigsaw. Some people use a scroll saw. I did not, because door hangers are so big that it's kind of hard to get a scroll saw that big. So for the red, this is my favorite red, this apple barrel gloss red. It has to be the gloss because the regular red is no good. If I don't use this, then my second go-to is just this DecoArt red. I like the gloss red because it requires less layers of paint. The only thing with the gloss, and I spray all my signs with a gloss finish anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me that it's glossy and these aren't glossy, because when I'm done with it, it's all going to be glossy. The only thing is, if you hand letter on your signs using any sort of gloss paint, it gets very slippery with the markers. So be wary of that. It takes a little extra skill to kind of navigate that situation. But if you were just painting like this, and then I have these cutouts over here, then it's not going to matter. But I love the red gloss, the apple barrel gloss. It's just a good color. And that is at Walmart too. Yeah, a good old jigsaw. You can get an inexpensive jigsaw and cut your signs out. And you know, especially if you're not cutting out a bunch, it's pretty easy. I'm just the type of person that I don't like to have to be at the mercy of somebody else for my anything. So I'll learn how to do it myself, so that if I decide one day that I want whatever door hanger, I can do it. You know, if when I started out there was somebody that, you know, sold blanks at, you know, at a price that I felt like I could afford, I would have probably just purchased them, but there just wasn't, you know, when I started my business, there wasn't really a whole lot of people making door hangers at all. That was back in 2014, and there was definitely not many, if any, people in my area that I knew of making door hangers. So I just figured it out, and I had zero experience. I literally just went and looked at, I got my first jigsaw at Walmart. It was a Black & Decker, and I just went and tried to figure out what kind of saw that I would need. And so, you know, I figured it out. Oh, Tracy, well, I will be saying a prayer for you. And, you know, that's got to be really, really, really hard. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, getting older stinks in a lot of ways. Let's see. CNC easier to learn than a laser. Kendria, I made my husband do it. So I'm going to dry this real quick. So I started my business in 2014. And then in 2017, I had my last daughter. And I talked my husband into leaving his teaching career, coaching, his football coach and a teacher, just getting increasingly frustrated with the public school system, not the kids, but the other stuff. And so I just talked him into, hey, let's buy a machine and you can come home and run the machine. And so we did that. So we went and bought the CNC router. It's a 2 foot by 4 foot, and he learned that whole situation. So I didn't have to, which was fabulous. And we had that from, so that was in 2017. And then in what year are we in? I feel like we've lost some years. In 2021, October of 2021. Yeah, because we've had our laser a year and a half. I got him to get a laser and he had to learn that. Now, I will say the laser was a lot more complicated to learn. He's still, I mean, he knows how to use it really good, but there's still like times, like the other day, it wasn't cutting all the way through, so he had to kind of take a bunch of stuff apart and clean it out, clean the lenses, and that took him like all day because he had to kind of figure all that out. Setting it up took a long time. So when we got it, we probably weren't up and using it for a good like 2 months. So there's a learning curve with the lasers. Now, if you just got like a Glowforge, a lot of people get a Glowforge laser. Those are just kind of a plug and play, kind of like a vinyl cutter for wood. Like everything's already like preset for you so that you don't have to, guess a lot. But any big laser, you can't do that. So you have to learn all the different wood settings. And so, if you have different thickness of wood, or like a different type of wood, like all those, you have to readjust all your settings. And kind of once you figure all that out, it is pretty easy. But figuring all that out takes, it takes a little while. They give you recommendations, but for some reason, everybody's machine seems to work just a little differently. Like settings that might work for one person may not be good settings for another. And even if you have the same machine. So the lasers are very finicky. We had to spend a lot of money buying additional parts for the laser after we got it, because it just doesn't come with very good quality things on it. It's very it's very basic and really not great. So no, it was definitely a learning curve for sure. And again, still learning, all the different things that you can do with a laser. There's so many different things, but the process is very different to do all of the different things. So, just getting all that situated was, I'll just say I'm glad that it was him doing it and not me. I have to do everything else in the business, websites and all the other technology. So that's like the one thing that I can hand off to somebody else and I don't have to do. It's fabulous. I do need him to teach me though, because if something ever happens to him, then I'm in trouble. I mean, I guess I could just figure it out just like everybody else did, right? Oh, you got a wireless jigsaw. Lauren got a wireless jigsaw. Let's see, do you still trace templates on the cutout when you use the CNC to CNC the outline? No, Lauren. It is just like, think of it as like a vinyl cutter for wood. So you have to have an SVG file. So you put the SVG file in the software for the CNC, and then it cuts the shape, and it works really good. The only problem with the CNC, like we've been very happy with ours, very, very, very happy. It was a very good purchase. It is great. It just cannot do the stuff that a laser can do. So in my personal opinion for crafting, I would get a laser. They're more of a pain. They're harder to set up, but you can do so much more with a laser than you can do with the CNC. The CNC will cut out the wood. It just doesn't burn the edges. So let's say you wanted to, the CNC will cut outwards like this, okay? But it gets really hard as you get a little bit more intricate with it, because the bits that it kind of cuts like in a twirly, like whatever, the bits only get so small. So, you know, it's hard to get super intricate stuff where you're going like, you know, in and out, like just tiny little things, like wording or just, you know, stuff like that. And another problem is because it doesn't burn the edges, you still kind of have to sand it. I mean, I guess you don't, depending on what kind of wood you use, but if you use any kind of plywood, you would still need to sand it. And like, think about sanding all of this. If you used a plywood, it takes forever. So I did do some name cutouts and things like that with the CNC, but it just, and then when you're going to paint it, then you have to paint the sides of all of this. Like it just literally takes forever. So the laser burns it and you get this nice kind of dark, which I know you know this one, but this nice dark edge on it. You can get away with not painting the sides. But if the sides are just raw wood, then it doesn't look as good. So, you know, the CNC is great for cutting door hangers. And you can like etch some lines with the CNC, but they're just a little bit wider etching. It's nothing like the laser. It's more like an engraving, like a carving in of the wood. So, you know, it just depends on what you want to do. The CNCs are, I would say they're comparable on price. The lasers require a lot more additional stuff that a lot of people don't realize that they have to get when you purchase it. I think our laser is bigger, but we had to spend like $1,500 in extra stuff after we got it. And that's a lot. That is a lot of money when you just spent, you know, $7,000 for a laser machine to have to then spend more money. So, you know, it's important, I think, to know all that going into it and be prepared for that. Otherwise, it's a big disappointment. I didn't think we would need to spend that much money extra when we got it, but because our machine was so big, it required kind of a few extra things. So like the suction to suck out all the smoke was ridiculously dumb that they have with it. And so you get a lot of smoke buildup inside the thing. So you have to get, you know, a filter and, you know, an air compressor to suck the smoke out. And I don't really even know. I'm pretending to know all the details, but it's hard for me because I wasn't the one that put it all together. But anyhow, see who's at my door, and I'm not answering it because I'm doing a video. So how awkward is it that my window is like right on my front porch? So just gonna ignore that person. Hopefully my husband gets the door. I don't know what he's doing though. So let's see, what other, do I have a shop for my lasers? So right now my laser is in my garage and my CNC machine is in my garage. We live on an acre and we have a kind of an oversized garage. So everything is in there, but it's, you know, we can't park our cars in the garage. and it takes up a large port. Like we have a big garage, and it's got like an extra kind of little shop piece to it. So luckily it was kind of perfect for us, but we are getting ready to sell our house and build we have a couple of acres, a little more out of town, or it's in a different town, but it's not that far from where we are now. And we are going to build a big workshop, because one of the, things that we have is I have an office inside my house, which is just like a 10 by 10. There's no closets in here. So basically my business takes up our whole entire house. I have 2 closets, walk-in closets, one in my entryway and one off my kitchen. It's like it's kind of like a little mudroom closet that I have my stuff in, plus this office, plus my whole entire garage. I have nowhere to hang like painted signs, like until I sell them. So you can't make a bunch of stuff ahead of time. The wood cutouts, we have to store those if we have extras until they sell. We're just very limited on space. And so you can't purchase stuff like shipping boxes in bulk, things like that. So we're going to build a big workshop, and hopefully I can just have all my room and all my space and quit working out of my house, which is very difficult because then I never feel like I'm at home. I'm always thinking about work, which I love what I do, so it doesn't really matter, but to me, sometimes you want to be able to like close that door and, kind of switch that part of your brain off and, spend time with your family, say. And you can't really do that when you're like, my office is right off the living room. So it's like, I'm always thinking, ooh, I need to go check my email, or I need to do this. And it's just, I need that separation for sure. John, yours is in your garage also. Yeah. And depending on where you live, like if your garage gets hot, we don't have like AC and heat in our garage. Luckily, our house is surrounded by lots of really huge trees. So we're in Texas, but my garage doesn't get super hot because of all the trees, luckily. But, if you're in a space where it gets really, really cold or really, really hot, a laser can be, it can be very difficult to put a laser outside, because you got to think about that kind of stuff, the freezing and the whatever. I know a lot of people that put the laser in their house. Mine is way too huge to even attempt that. So it is not in my house, but I know a lot of people have a smaller one that put them in their house. Well, hello, Patricia. Yes, thank you for hopping on. We welcome you. I'm usually running behind too, so you're good. And you can watch the replay of any part you missed. I'm just getting my final coats of paint on here, and then I'm going to do my letters. And then I'm going to test out some glitter on here. I've got a laser. Sorry, I'm reading Lauren's comments. I'll just pull them up so y'all can read them with me. I've wondered about a laser for third elements, but continuing to use a jigsaw for the main shape. Yes. I used to puzzle piece the sheets, the signs really, really well with my jigsaw. The thing with the jigsaw is that cutting out, we'll say, for example, I'm making these for some friends. My daughter, my 17-year-old is graduating. She's a senior, and I'm making these for some little baskets. Like cutting this out with the jigsaw is, forget it. Like you might cut your finger off. Now you could, it just would be really hard. You could do it, but it's really hard. I've got to show you guys sometime when I was first starting out, like the first year in my business, I did a paint party for 15 people, and they did those, you know, that vine, the monogram with that vine font, that curly, you know, scripty, whatever, and with a frame around it. I cut those out with a jigsaw. I still, to this day, cannot even believe I did that. I cut 15 of them out with a jigsaw, and I remember breaking a few of them and having to like redo them. I don't even know, but I cut all those out with a jigsaw. So it could be done. It would be very, very difficult. So a scroll saw would be really good for stuff like this, but that's why I wanted to get the laser, is because I wanted to do like more intricate, small stuff like that. So you could technically continue to cut out with a jigsaw the big shapes and then use a laser for smaller shapes. If size, you know, that you needed something that was smaller, you needed something that didn't cost as much, like that would be good. I honestly, when I first proposed that we get a laser, I was just honestly like trying to talk my husband into getting a glow forge. I was like, listen, we can just get a glow forge because we have the CNC already, right? And then we can use the CNC for all the big shapes, and then we just have the glow forge for the smaller shapes. Like that's all I was going to get. But then he was like, no, like if we're going to get something, you might as well get something big enough to handle whatever. And so I'm like, okay. He said, you know, like what if something happens to the CNC machine? Then we would have the laser as a backup. So you might as well get something that fits everything. So then I was like, okay. Then we started looking into that, and then that grew into something bigger. So I was just like, let's just get a glow forge. Now we have like a 3.5 by 5.5 foot laser machine. So, you know, my husband's just the type that like, if you're going to get it and spend the money, you might as well get something that is going to handle everything that you want for the next several years. Whereas I'm like, oh, let's just go with the cheaper option to get us by. We'll figure out the rest later. His way, I will have to say, is definitely better long term. But it's hard for my mind to think like that because I think about the price and the cost. So that's really how the giant laser came about. So you could definitely get, you know, something better and bigger. True, like for you, like if you're gonna spend the money on a laser, then you might as well get something that can cut shapes out too, right? Like you're gonna spend all the time to learn it. You might as well save yourself because you'll be able to save time, right? And you'll be able to make more, especially if you want to do, you know, if you're just a crafter, just wanting to craft here and there, and you have zero intentions of ever starting a business, then I think Glowforge is just fine. But if you ever think in the future that you might want to do this for a business, then I would go ahead and I would just spend the money and get the bigger. Because I think of them as employees. They're employees, right? Like they're doing the work of somebody. They're, you know, doing the work of cutting the signs out. So might as well get paid good for that, or pay them, you know, what they're due. Okay, so on the lettering, I use a thinner, like a 1/8 inch for my lettering, just because I personally like the way that once you glue it on the sign, it doesn't stand up as tall. This wood is like a 1/5 inch or 1/4 inch thickness, and so this is just a little bit thinner. When I started doing this, I used the thicker wood for the cutouts, but I just didn't like the way they looked. I just felt like they looked too like tall. So these are a little thinner. So we have the hello, we have the summer here. What I do when I have like small parts like this that I have to paint, I usually will get some painter's tape. And this just kind of just kind of holds everything in place so that they don't slide around and you're not having to grab them with your fingers. And I just fold these inside here. And then I just stick these on here. It just makes it easier to paint. When I have big stuff like this, I don't do that, but any of these smaller things I do. And we're gonna paint this black. And I use a little makeup sponge wedge. I get mine at Dollar General, but you can find them. I think Target has them, or Amazon. Walmart does not. They come in little wedges, and I cut them in half, and I use like a kind of the flat part here. It just keeps the paint from soaking in, and it puts it on very well. It's a nice smooth layer. You can use a paintbrush too, like, or a little sponge brush, but these just work a little bit better. The paintbrushes tend to kind of scrape these sides here. So when you're using, even if you use like a smaller paintbrush like this, when you're painting the top, a lot of times you're going to scrape your brush and it's going to drip down the sides. Not a huge deal if you're doing your letters black, but if you were doing your letters white, then it could get a little bit messy. Another thing that I do is if you have, I have these big giant paint pens. Costco comes, you can get all different kinds with the bigger tips. So I have that, and I will just do this because it's so much faster and so much easier. And then I don't have to worry about paint dripping down the sides, that sort of stuff. But, you know, then you would have to buy one of those. So a fast, easy, inexpensive way is just to use your regular paint and a little wedge. I just dip this in here. These are great because the paint doesn't absorb into the sponge. So regular sponge brush, right, you're going to use a lot of paint because it's just going to continue to soak into the paint. But these, you can just kind of, you know, brush on, and it just kind of prevents you from getting a lot down the sides, especially for these like thinner areas. It works really well. You know, I do lettering, so any opportunity to purchase a cool marker, I tend to go for that. But and I actually had those long before we had the laser machine. But so you could use a smaller paint pen too, but it would take you so long for something like this. You know, if you're doing like a little ornament or something, that would be fine. I get too impatient sometimes to do this sort of thing. So a lot of times that's my problem. Good morning, Juanita. Good morning, Jamie. Juanita said she found some of these wedges at Rite Aid. We don't have a lot of Rite Aids here, Juanita, so I'm glad that you said that because, you know, I don't think to you know, well, we don't have them, so I don't think about it. There's probably some somewhere, but we have mostly like Walgreens and CVS around here. This also gets, you get paint on your nails if you're not careful, which it comes out, but see, I'm the type of crafter that I'm always like looking for a faster way to do things. So for me to do this, I'm like, okay, how can I get this? How can I do this faster? But if you're just a crafter doing this for a hobby, it's obviously way different because you're not, you know, trying to get it done as quickly as possible, right? You're still enjoying the process, whereas I'm trying to get orders completed. So it's just a different end goal. So sometimes the process might be different depending on that. But it gets just a nice, good, clean layer, no drippage, and it's lovely. Oh, Dollar Tree has these. I got some Dollar Tree colored wedges once, but they like the spongy parts would like flake off after a few minutes. And I don't know if it was just the colored ones, possibly because these are just Dollar General. But I had that problem with the colored wedges that I got from Dollar Tree. And maybe I was like, who knows? I could have also been trying to be too rough with them. That's always trying to hurry. That's always a possibility. My Molotow marker, Juanita, I got it on Amazon, but I had to buy mine in a set of, which I'm sure they sell them individually, but I had to buy mine in a set of multiple colors. So I have like red, blue, yellow, white, black, orange, and the nice big markers. I bought them because I was thinking, I got them like in 2017, a long time ago. But I got them because I was thinking I could use them to like paint my mini attachments instead of using paint. Again, with the efficiency thing, my brain. And it's probably just an excuse to buy some really cool big markers. But I was thinking, oh, if I could use those to kind of do those layers of paint. I don't really know why I was thinking that, because really that's going to take just as long as painting something. But, you know, again, I think I was trying to justify it in my head just because I wanted them because they were cool. But I totally don't use them for that at all, because I wanted a thicker layer on the attachments. So like, have you ever used a marker or something on your wood, wanting to use that instead of paint, but you still have the rough texture of the wood kind of shows through the paint? I don't know. I'm a really picky painter, so that's something that bothers me. Like, I want it to be smooth and pretty, and I don't want it to look rough, and I don't know. So markers kind of don't coat the wood to my liking, so I don't use them for that. But if you were doing like teeny tiny little tier tray sets, or you know, something like that, that probably wouldn't matter. But I obviously do things on a little bigger scale, so it's much more noticeable when you have you know, when you have some fuzzy wood underneath the, or wood grain showing. And again, you know, if you're just painting signs for yourself, like most of the time I wouldn't care. Like, I just want to put the, you know, you just want to get the color on it, hang it on your front door. Nobody's going to see anything that close up, nor would they ever even probably notice half the things that you notice. But when you're making them to sell, it's obviously kind of it's a different game. Like, you have to, you know, you want to make sure, or at least I do, want to make sure that what I am selling my customers is good quality, not just kind of slapped on there just so that I can make a sale. Like, I make sure everything is very, you know, I'm just very particular, and I make sure that I don't want to say my signs are as close to perfection as they could possibly be, because obviously nobody's perfect, but I will kind of make sure every little time, and maybe my customers don't even care and it's a waste of time, but that's just me and how I am. But if I was just making it for myself, then I wouldn't really care. So I do think there's a level of difference, you know, when you see a maker that's selling signs, creating their product, you know, you're making it for somebody else. You want it to be good. You want it to be quality. You don't want anybody to say, yeah, I got a sign from them, but, you know, it was okay. No, I want people to say, I want people to be pleasantly surprised. So it's just who I am. Let's see. Do I dampen mine first? I don't. I don't dampen them. I have honestly just never even thought about that or never even tried. It probably would work because I dampen my makeup sponge before I put my makeup on. But I've never thought about doing it for the signs. Does anybody else dampen their little sponge before they go to paint? It's probably a really good idea, Jamie. I will try that. Yeah, the marker tips do tend to mess up sometimes when you use them on wood. I haven't had a problem with these at all, but depending on what markers you're using, what kind of wood you're using, I use a really high grade MDF. It's not the MDF that you get at Home Depot or Lowe's. It is not that, because that is not good MDF. It's really, we get it from a lumber yard, and it's it's really tightly packed, and it's really smooth and solid and very dense, and it works really, really well. So my surface is super smooth, so it doesn't typically ruin my markers that much, but it can for sure if you're using them a lot. Let's see, I'm just going up through here and seeing messages while I let this dry. Oh, Kim said she found makeup wedges at Family Dollar. Family Dollar. And then I think Family Dollar and Dollar General were owned by the same people. I get mine at Dollar General because that's just where a friend of mine got hers, and she told me about it. So I was there and getting something else, and I saw them and grabbed them. 2 views on your live. Use special equipment. So 2 views on my live. I do. So I don't go live, Jamie, straight from Facebook. I use StreamYard. So it's like a third-party app. And so it allows you to have a second camera. So I have a webcam I have fastened up here. I'll show you while we're waiting for this to dry here. A little lesson on the webcam. See right here? It's plugged into my computer, and that's what I use for my second camera. Zoom, you could do that on Zoom too. And it is very nice because obviously doing what I do, like I don't really need a camera on my face, but my computer camera can't really, you would have to put it, I guess you could do, well, you could figure out ways to just do a camera on your hands, but it wouldn't, like I feel like I want you guys to see my face, and as I'm talking, it's like this just feels weird if it was just my hands, like, I don't know. It's the headless crafter. A lot of people do that, but I like having the 2 views. Because then it feels like you're actually like a human being talking to people, you know. Feels kind of weird. Okay, yeah. Lauren asked if I painted the popsicle stick right here, and no, I did not. So I'm glad you asked that because I just completely skipped over that part. When I I used to paint them. I used to paint them like a khaki color, and then I would do like some gold, like dry brushing on there. But you know, I was at a paint party once, and my customer was painting their popsicle, and they left it blank. And I was like, "Oh, you're not going to paint the stick?" And they were like, "Well, no, it's wood, and a popsicle stick is wood." And I was like, "You are a genius. I never even thought about that, right? Like a popsicle stick is wood, so why not just leave it the color of actual wood?" So I don't paint. So there's that. And I feel like it looks way more natural and way better when you don't paint it. Because when you try to paint it the color of a popsicle stick, it still looks like paint. I don't know. That's just me. So I've been leaving them blank since then. Let's see. Just making sure that I'm not missing any comments here. Oh, Kiwi, your 17-year-old's graduating too. Congrats to yours too. Yeah, our graduation is Saturday, so I'm very sad. I'm very sad. I'm not ready for it yet. It's my she's my second. She's my middle child, but I'm still not ready for it. Still not. Thank you for sprinkling, Miss Amy. I appreciate it. I'm going back through and reading these comments while I'm waiting for this to dry. Reading Tracy's comments here. Main job is to work for a magazine and work at every house, and everything is everywhere. It's taken. Yes. Yeah, right, Tracy. And then it's like you can never like be home and away from your job. It's like it's always there, which is fine because again, I would work 24/7 because I absolutely love what I do. I do. I love all of it. But my family doesn't really want me to do that. So they they don't appreciate it so much. So, you know, I guess I need to, I need to have that home and work life a little more separated. Let's see. Amy says she likes the two views as well. Only hands is right. Like it feels like you don't know who I am. Like it's just this headless person. Like, oh, I don't know. It feels weird. It's nice because then you don't have to worry about doing your hair or your makeup or what shirt you have on. Because, I have like 7 shirts and I wear them over and over and over. And I'm like, okay, what shirt did I wear last time? What shirt did I wear on my live last time? Can't wear the same thing all the time. But, I like to see. It puts that human connection there. I think it's good. People like to see your face. And then I also feel like I'm talking to nobody when I can't look up here and see, even though it's no different, I'm not talking to myself, but it feels like there's at least a face that I'm looking at. I don't know. Or I can look at the computer like I'm looking at somebody. It's a little strange, but Lauren. Well, thank you, Lauren. I don't necessarily like seeing my face on the camera, but it is what it is. So now I'm getting white and black. I'm just going to do some little quick accents on here. I've done this sign with polka dots here and here is really cute. I've also done this sign with some stars up here, which is super cute. I kind of thought about doing some like glittery stars here, but that's not on the template, so maybe I should just not do that. But I thought that would be cute. Instead, I am going to try to mix some glitter for some glitter paint. Marie said, I painted an American flag cross. Let's see. And left the white areas plain wood. Yeah, you know what? Marie, I've seen a lot of people do that lately, even like with the lettering. They've done like a black and white sign, and then they've left the lettering just the wood color and glued that on there. And I think that looks really awesome. I need to try that sometime because then you don't have to worry about painting them at all, right? That would be really awesome. Yeah, I need to try that. Yeah, like I just only wear the same. Amy's with me on the clothes. I have like a certain amount of clothes that I just only wear all the time. In fact, I'll show you all this. Abby made me a Mother's Day gift, but she made this little, you know how they make these little, and Abby's 5.5, she's in preschool. But it says, my mom likes to wear, and it says her lettering shirts. I was like, yeah, well, that is correct, Abby. That is correct. Yeah, I just wear my shirts all the time. You know, for no other reason other than I get paint all over everything. So like, I'm not gonna be dressing up nice. Okay, so I'm gonna use like a bigger round brush, and I'm gonna do some white accents. This is really great if you don't get really good straight lines, because a lot of people struggle with that, and I totally get it. This is how I fix that. I take, you know, this big round brush here, I dip it in some white, and I kind of blot mine off so it's not super thick, because then you'll get like a really heavy piece of white here, but then it will kind of taper off and smooth out. So I take this and I'm going to go right on top of this threshold right here. So right where these two colors meet, I'm going to go right on top of that. So it really didn't matter if I didn't get a super straight line, because I'm just going to do this and it's going to cover it up, and you're not going to be able, a little more paint on there. You're not going to be able to see it. You just kind of go right across that, it covers it up. So that is my secret to covering up not super straight lines. I don't obviously struggle with that now, but there was a time when I first started that I did. And when I did paint parties, we like kind of touched up and cleaned up everybody's signs after they were done painting. And so that was just a really easy way to kind of just clean up everybody's straight lines. A lot of people will use like a black marker, black paint pen, to outline that, and you could do that too. I'm not very good at, like, for that. A lot of times I can do that, but for the accents, I'm just not good at doing the accents with a paint pen, because I just learned to do it with a paintbrush, because when I started painting, I didn't use paint pens. And so now when I try to use a paint pen, it just, to me, like it doesn't look as good. So I just continue to use my paintbrush. But if you're starting out, a paint pen would probably be easier. Now I do, let me take that comment down, sorry. We have to just acknowledge this really quick. Thankfully, my daughter didn't embarrass me like that. My daughter's kindergartner said, Mom is good at saying bad words. They love to rat us out, don't they? They love to rat us out. Mine said my mom's favorite thing to eat is peanut butter and jelly. I've probably eaten 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches her whole entire life. I have zero idea where that came from. Like zero. I don't eat peanut butter and jelly. I mean, I like them, but I don't even eat them. I don't even know why she said that. Kids are so funny. Sometimes they just come up with some crazy things. And then right here, I just kind of go around this right here. And then I just do a little wedgy thing there. And then next, we're going to take a black. So for black, I usually will use a thinner brush. So still a round brush, but I use one that's just a little smaller, so that the white will be bigger and will be behind the black line. I don't know why, that's just what I've always done. So, and again, you're going to go across that. Now, if you're using like a black marker to outline, you could use that black marker first and then do like a white accent on top of the black marker, and that would look really good too. And you could always do like some little polka dots or some little squiggly lines. A lot of people do that. Sometimes I'll do that, but I wasn't that creative when I started making the sign, and this is just how I've always made it. So you could really dress up the sign in so many ways. Like you could do so much with the sign. They are just fun. And you could write all kinds of things on it. I sell a template that is this sign that says Sweet Freedom, Hello Summer, Sweet Summer. You know, you could do all kinds of sayings on it. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, and I'm gonna put some glitter on it because everybody likes some glitter. So here's what I was thinking. If you've seen a couple of my lives, I've used this Glitterific Pop from FolkArt. That camera is so terrible. Glitterific FolkArt. These are just colors that I already have, but this is like a black speckledy. And so I was thinking about doing this, but I just wasn't sure. So this Glitterific Pop has like big flakes in it and small flakes in it. It's got kind of a variety of colors and what have you. So I think that would look good on top of here. But I was thinking about, I have some big flaky glitter here. I also have like this color, and then some smaller that just happens to match perfectly. Some red and silver. So I was thinking about just making my own here. So we're gonna just test this out because I've been wondering about this anyway. And I'm gonna use Mod Podge just because it's a good base. You could also use, I know a lot of people use clear Elmer's glue. I have been wanting to try that. I just have not tried it because I just don't think about it whenever I'm at the store to get it. So that's probably way too much. So we're gonna try two different ones. And I'm just giving these letters a little more time to dry. They're dry, but I want to put tape on the front of the letters to show you guys to glue. So I want to give it just a little bit more time to dry. And I'm going to grab a popsicle stick to stir my glitter with. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in here as just kind of to get it started. I like these Tuesday videos because I can experiment with things. So these are just some bigger flakes. I don't know where I got these from, probably Dollar Tree, or I got them in a big. I don't like using the big flakes if I'm like putting solid glitter on something. Like I like the finer kind of powdery glitter better because I feel like for door hangers it just blends better. But I've got this Glitterific Pop, and it had a good mixture of different sizes of flakes. So I thought one of these days I'm gonna try that and experiment, just since I already have it here. And see what we can come up with. I don't know. Oh, that's a lot. I don't know how this is going to turn out. But I cannot imagine it's not going to turn out cute. And then I'll do the same thing for red. So we'll put a little bit of this in. Red, and then I'm going to do some silver. Again, these are just colors that I already had. I don't have any big red flakes, so. We'll see. Because, you know, I don't want to pay, this is normally for $19 and I got it on clearance for $1.07. $1.07, I'll pay for that. $4, that's a little difficult for me to do. So, okay, so now I'm going to try the blue first right here and just make sure if you use glitter on here that your accents are dry first. And it may not even make that much of a difference. But we're going to try it anyway. You could also cover like the whole thing with glitter. Should I do that? Y'all tell me. You have a good day too, Marie. Oh, Amy's going live now. Shame on her. She knows better than that. She's not thinking. Or she just, that was her only time to do it. We know when we go live, but you know, sometimes it just works out that way. She left me a message this morning and I haven't had a chance to check it, so she could have told me. So do y'all think that I should do just the whole layer glitter or cover the whole thing when Nita says go for it? Why not? Let's see. I make y'all responsible for making the judgment call. And this is, you know, Mod Podge on here. So it looks white, but it will dry. It will dry clear. And then that way it's going to have like specks of like the darker blue. I think it will look really cute. It's hard to see. Glitter never shows up good in videos the way that it does in person. It just doesn't. But I'll try to get a really good picture of it that you can get a good visual. So now I'm going to do my red glitter mix here. And I think anyway, summer, anything patriotic needs a little bit of glitter, right? Glitter's always good. I never used to use glitter until a few years ago. Now I like want to use it on everything. But I never used it much before because I did paint parties all the time. And, you know, glitter paint is expensive. And I'm not bringing loose glitter to anybody's house. I would never do that to somebody. So I just didn't really use it. I'm just kind of trying to make sure that it's even and it's thin enough that it's not gonna be too thick to dry. And you can always go back when it's dry and add, you know, if you need to add some flakes somewhere. because the more you rub on it, sometimes you'll drag them across the sign. So you have to be careful. Yeah, I like that. I do think that looks cute. Amy said she's more of an accent glitter type girl. You know, me too. I think that I'm not like a really, I'm pretty plain when it comes to like door hangers and stuff. I like really boring kind of plain stuff. And when you're painting for people all the time, you know, you can't just like, oh, here's this sign. I'm going to paint black and white again. Like, you know, you want to kind of branch out and do some different things. So over the last, 3 years since COVID happened, I quit doing paint parties and started doing the online painting. It's kind of brought me out of my shell just a little bit and started experimenting with more stuff. And it's fun. It is fun. Because not everybody just wants, I mean, obviously, how many ways are you going to teach a black and white sign? Like, but for me, I don't know, summertime and Christmas, I want like some fun, kind of colorful stuff. Easter, you know, there are holidays, but for the most part, I just like pretty plain stuff. But since I've been using the glitter, I actually really, really like it. I like this. Now, any other glitter I use for accents, and this is the glitter that I use most all the time, this extreme glitter hologram from FolkArt, because it just kind of takes on the color of whatever you're using, and it just kind of is good for everything. That's what I typically use, but I got this at, you know, Hobby Lobby on clearance, and so I was like, well, it's $1, might as well try it, right? I got several different colors, and I love it. I would have never, ever purchased that otherwise, ever, because I wouldn't have thought I would have liked it, but I love it. So now it's my new favorite thing to use, because it kind of looks like that splatter paint, you know? Yeah, Juanita is looking really good. It looks like that splatter paint look that everybody does. And so it's kind of a good way to get that look without making that mess. And again, you know, this has a lot of black pieces in it. So I need to go and just kind of get some coordinating colors to make my own, so that it doesn't have black specks in it. Because I think if this was just no black specks and just the blue and silver, and this was just red and silver, it would look a lot better. I mean, not that the black looks bad, but yeah, it looks really cool. And that's just something easy to like dress up your sign, to not make it look so plain if you are one that doesn't want plain things. So I'm just drying this, and then we are going to, you like it with the black, Juanita? I mean, it does tie on this, and then you put a super fun, crazy bow here. I don't know, ever since I did that, I know a lot of you watched that, but the bunny rabbit that I did at Easter, that purple one, and then I covered it with the that glitter. Oh my gosh, that has like that might be one of my favorite signs that I've ever made. And it was literally just a solid color sign, streak some white on it, and then put that glitter on it. And it just dressed it up. It didn't need a lot of fancy painting, and it looks really good. I love that sign. So yeah, this glitter is like, it's my fave, I have to say. It's just still sticky in a couple spots, so. And it makes it nice and slick and smooth. It almost puts kind of a protective layer on it that I like. Okay, look how cute that is. I love it. Now we're gonna put our letters on here. And so I'm going to use super glue, and we're going to glue it here. I might have to stand up for this part so I can look over myself. So I use super glue. I use this Loctite professional liquid. You could use gel. There's a lot of different kinds. I like this because it sets really fast. The only problem with it is it sets really fast. So make sure it's in the right spot. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get it up at all. Like, well, hello, Miss Carrie. You like the black too? I'm not going to buy it because I like the receipts. Yeah. Yeah. You know, but Carrie, like if you were here watching the, and you may not want to do all this. Not everybody wants to do all the things, right? But I just got like these bigger, like you could probably get some silver and black, like these bigger flakes. I'll put them here because you can see better, like the bigger flaky glitter. And mix it with some Mod Podge. You can make your own if you didn't want to spend $4. But honestly, you're probably going to spend $4 on all of the supplies to make it. So there's that. There's that. So I always kind of line this up. Now, here's where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Sometimes we will engrave the words on the actual sign so that you can line it up and know where to put it. Like, let me show you something. Hang on. This is what I'm going to be making next week. But sometimes we will also engrave the letters on here so that when you glue, you know exactly where to glue them. And this is especially nice for the word summer because they're all individual words. But I did not have my husband do that on this because I sell the Popsicle with several different sayings, and I didn't want to have a different file for each Popsicle with each saying. So I was like, just don't. So because of that, it makes this part a little trickier. So this is what I did the other day. I got my tape here. I just flipped my words. We're going to flip them upside down on the tape. But first, I'm going to do this. I got my laser level. If you don't have a laser level, you can just draw a pencil line or even get a sheet of paper. This is just some cardstock here, but you could get a sheet of paper. And that way you know how to line up the words. So I'm going to put hello right where I want it. There. I'm just going to kind of want this a little bit lower. And obviously, if you're lettering this on, then, or if you buy the template has the words and you can just letter it with a marker. It's going to be a little harder to do the marker on top of this glitter. That would be one downfall of the glitter. So just kind of line this out. Evenly, just so that they're all even across the bottom. This S could probably just drop just a little bit. It's a little bit bigger than the other letters because I kind of have it going up under that part just a little bit more. So I think I want to pull these down just a little bit more. I gotta look on top of it. Let's see. Sometimes it's hard to see when you are looking at it. Like, I need to look at it like down, right? Okay. So this is my lettering. I just turned my lettering into an SVG file for us to cut on the machine. And I think I do sell this SVG file if anybody ever wants to use it to purchase it, cut vinyl, anything like that. Okay. So if you also could use a laser level instead of a piece of paper, if you wanted to, you can't really see, but it's putting like, see on the white, you can see it's putting that line. So if you wanted to line your words out that way, you could, but I actually honestly kind of like how this felt like it did a little bit better. It is hard to like think about it evenly with that swirly line there. Okay, I think that looks good. So what I do, does that look all right? Good enough, right? So I'll get the tape here, and I'm just gonna put it right on top of these once you get them lined out. And you could even line them out just on a piece of paper. Like you could set them on here and just line them up if you didn't want to do it on the sign. But then now we have them, they're all connected. So I know how they're spaced out. I'm gonna flip it over and put the glue on and then put it down. So, and I'm gonna put it down first before I do the hello so that I can make sure that I get them where I want them situated on here. Now our bow is going to go right here. And this is the 21-inch sign. There's one bigger size, so you'll have more space between here and the bow. But right here, the bow's going to go there. So I think that's good. Like that. Okay, so glue. You don't need to put a ton, nor do you need to squeeze really hard because then a whole bunch is going to come out. You just, I barely squeeze and just let a little bit get on the wood and just kind of run it like that. You could even just periodically dot it if you wanted to. You just don't want to put so much that when you put it down, it squishes out the sides. So it doesn't need a whole lot. I'm probably putting way more than it needs, but you know. You want to make sure like you get the ends good so that they don't like pull up. Then I'm going to take this. Set it down. And just press hard, and then these are like already set. They're not going anywhere. And then I'm going to peel my tape off. Now your tape might pull a little bit of that paint off, and if it does, you can just get like a little brush and just touch up that spot. But that, see, it's a very easy way to get your letters on there straight. I think they're straight for the most part. Now we're going to do hello. Same way. And as much as I like hand lettering, this just gives it a really nice, clean look. So I really love using the word cutouts because it just gives it real crisp, clean look. And I figure since it is still my lettering, still my handwriting, that makes it okay, right? So there you go. And see, it's just raised, but it's not raised too tall where it's just really, you know, awkward looking. It's nice kind of flush. If you get any color on the sides of your sign, you can just grab a black marker and touch that up. But there we go. And you can put some glitter on your letters if you want to, but I'm not going to overdo it. And then I'm going to tie string, spray seal it with some gloss sealer, and then I will add my bow after that dries. And there we have it. Such a cute, cute summer sign. Yeah, I love the raised wood. It's just, a lot of people still want like a hand lettered sign because now everybody's doing the raised wood or everybody's doing the vinyl letters. And so people like the knowing that it's hand lettered. So there's still a lot of people that would prefer not to have this, but it's a good option for people to be able to make their own signs and to do their own thing and not have to worry about, you know, their lettering and how their lettering looked. So it's just makes, like, this is simple, super easy. Anybody can do this. You're just putting 3 colors. You added some glitter on it. You painted the letters, glued them on. Like, super, super easy sign. Lauren said, hand lettering is talent. Hand lettering is an art. It is an art that, you know, I think anybody can do it if they practice, but you do have to practice at it, right? Like, it's just, you know, it's just one of those things. The glue is Loctite Professional Liquid. Now, Loctite has several different brands, but I like the Professional Liquid. Some makers use a gel, and while the gel are fabulous because once you put it down, if you get it in the wrong spot, you can still kind of slide it over and like rearrange it, but it has to like sit overnight. And sometimes you got to put something heavy on it or clamp it. I do not want to have to deal with all that. I want to be able to put my letters on and be done. So I like the Loctite for that reason, but you may be different than that. Well, there we have it. Let's see here. Above my crafts. Yes, Gil. I was just telling my lettering, the gals in my lettering group, my lettering club, that the other night because we did sign lettering, and I was just saying, like, always take your sign, hang it on your front door, take a picture of it, and then look at your sign through the picture before you seal it, because you'll really see so many different things that you didn't see while you were doing it. Because when you're doing it, you know, you're looking at the angle from here. You're not looking like hovering over it. And sometimes you just don't notice things. So that's what I do a lot of times. I'm not so much anymore, but once upon a time I did. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Next week, I'm going to be doing this little lemonade, Hello Summer Lemonade sign. So that is fun, and that will be good. All my signs that I sell as cutouts are going to have holes in them already. We include the holes because that's just how I've always done it. I do not want to have to staple strings to the backs of my signs because, you know, you just run the risk of the staples going through the sign, and then you got to put something in the way, and I don't want to deal with any of that. So we drill holes in all of our signs. So if you ever order a sign from me, unless you specifically request it without holes, it is always going to have these holes drilled in it. And then so I just put jute string through the holes, and I put a knot here and a knot here. And then I usually, you know, hide one of them with my bow here, so that you don't see it, and then you just have your other one. And sometimes I'll get ribbon. Like this one would look really cute if you did like a black ribbon with like some white polka dots. And you could just put the ribbon through the holes and tie a knot here, and hang it. Just trying to think. Oh, here's the sign that we did in my membership. So this is how I just get this 4-ply jute string, put it through the front, tie a knot. And then that's how I hang these. You could use wire too. I did that for a short amount of time, but I like the string better than the wire, because the wire sometimes will scratch your paint. So I know I am a very informative deal. I'm usually an open book. Just ask me anything. I give away everything. But I don't know. It's just me. It's just me. Okay, so I am gonna go finish some orders. So the bow, let's see. This is the one that I made. I painted this as an order yesterday, and I'm gonna show you which one I used, or what my bow looked like. So my bow looked like this. It just has some like red and patriotic. This blue is more of a navy blue, but it still looks good because it's way up here and you don't really see. And I have some of the red and black mesh behind there. I have some of that mesh tubing there. So that's what I used. I usually just look and see what I have and what will go, and sort of put something together based on what I have. So that's what I have. I know Hobby Lobby makes a color like this, blue color in the burlap ribbon. I just didn't have any. So if you use navy blue, you have more options. So that's what I'm going to do as well. And yeah, so that's it. Lauren, post a picture of your sign when you're done. You can do it in the lettering group if you want. I would love to see how it looked. And if any of you guys make this, let me know. Send me a picture, because I just want to, I love seeing how they turn out and how everybody paints them. So yeah, you're going to have to do this in some other colors. You're going to have to do this in some other colors, especially with that glitter. Okay, y'all have a good rest of the day, and I will see you next time.